Uncorked with Kit is brought to you by Victoria's Cuppy Cup Cottage. Get yourself or someone you love a custom-made stainless steel tumbler at victoriascuppycups.etsy.com. She offers a variety of styles, colors, and sizes to choose from. When you use the promo code UNCORKED, you'll get $5 off your first purchase. A link in the description below.
This is Evil Kip Stevens, K-I-P, and you're listening to Uncorked with Kit, K-I-T. You see, they get us confused all the time because I'm better looking and ravishing, but I don't do this show, only he does. So that's K-I-T with a T doing the show. I am K-I-P with a P doing the introduction.
Howdy, everybody, and welcome to the 8th edition of Uncorked with Kit. Today is Wednesday, February 3rd, 2021, and my guest today is a gem. He's somebody that gets under my skin every single time I see him, and I love him for it. He's one of my favorite people to travel with. He does all the work. I met him at CZW, but he's wrestled for Ring of Honor and Chikara, where he was trained. I think he's one of the best minds in professional wrestling. He's definitely gone through his share of hardships, but he's somebody that always sets me straight every single time I have an issue, and he always guides me in the right direction. So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome Tim Donst. Thank you for coming on my show. I know you have a busy schedule and all that, especially at 10 o'clock on a Wednesday.
I usually I'm doing a lot worse things at 10 p.m. on a weekday, so I appreciate staying inside. I do love your lighting you have, though.
Yeah,
you look like a mix between a Twitch star and an OnlyFans guy.
I should
especially now as you adjust it down to your crotch, definitely an OnlyFans.
Yeah, to set the mood. So with my show, I gave you a brief about it, but for anybody listening, just because they're just such a big Tim Donst fan,
oh, yeah.
I uncork a bottle of wine, and every bottle of wine I buy, most of the time very cheap, they relate to the person I'm interviewing. And today...
I'm excited.
Today I actually bought this one called Prophecy, all right, with this clown on the front. Now, I always looked at you, man, as a prophet when it comes to wrestling. An individual, regarded and being in contact with like a divine being. That's what a prophet is. But, I always saw you as somebody, understood wrestling, which is the divine entity that we're talking about, like the ins and outs and like in the different perspectives. And I always saw you as somebody like that because you didn't look through it, you didn't have tunnel vision when you look at wrestling. You kind of look at the outside picture. You try to watch yourself in third person, which is like why you've had so much patience with me every time I fucking argue to death about like, no, man, that's not how it is. It doesn't work like that. Wins and losses matter, and that's why I need to win all the time. And you're like, dude, let me. And but you always at the end of the day like taught me how to be more mindful when things didn't come my way. And to kind of look at it in third person, like, hey, maybe they don't have anything against you, or maybe they just didn't see it, see what you see. And so I always appreciated that. So that's the only good thing you're going to hear about me, or about me saying to you.
I was going to say, when you started off talking about cheap wine and there being a clown, I thought you were going to go a different direction. I very much appreciate that. I mean, to be fair, I have a pretty open mind anyway, but I was lucky enough to train in Chikara, which was one of the most absurd wrestling companies on the entire planet for, close to 2 decades, as well as wrestle for HWA in Ohio early on in my career, which is one of the most old school, Les Thatcher influenced wrestling promotions. So I was lucky enough to really have 2 different mindsets. So maybe that's why I see such a big spectrum.
Yeah, I mean, Chikara is obviously, it's very outlandish. And Quackenbush, to him, I mean, his way of thinking is not anything I've ever experienced. I mean, I have very little experience with him, but I've gotten a couple training sessions with him when I was at CZW, which I mean, I just saw the way his outlook of wrestling was way completely different than anybody else's. I saw a lot of it with Drew Gulak, who trained me a lot. You know, a lot of it was, you know, with Mike Quackenbush with him. Did you enjoy training there, like, more than, you know, if you were to, I'm sure you've also trained at other places.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, I started training when I was 16 years old. So you can imagine how like young and influenced I was by him. He was literally like a secondary father figure to me, like growing
Yeah.
up. You know, and at the same time, Chris Hero and Claudio Castagnoli were also training. So I kind of got the best of both worlds.
I mean, like, so when you look at wrestling now compared to, like, you know, when you were a kid, before you started training, like, what would you say, like, the big differences are? Like, do you watch wrestling now and then just go, you know, it takes you back to being a kid? Like, anytime you and I would watch, you know, some old WWF stuff, does it just kind of go back to like the first time you ever watched it, or is it now, since you're a performer, that you just kind of judge everything?
I try not to judge because wrestling's such an art form. Who am I to do that? You know, I've always had the idea that there's too many critics and not enough artists in the world. So we should kind of be kinder in terms of judgment and whatnot. But I did notice once I switched into being a performer, I felt like all the wrestlers I did. Like, I wasn't really a Regal guy. I didn't like Dean Malenko. I liked Barack and, like, you know, Hogan. But then once you start training, you're like, holy fuck, Regal and Dean Malenko are so good. So it's kind of like some of your favorites switch around.
It's kind of like, I mean, what we do, we look more into the details rather than the big picture, which sometimes hurts us now because we don't look at the big picture as we did when we were kids, where it's like, I didn't give a shit that Giant Gonzalez couldn't wrestle and he was like 8 feet tall. I just cared that he was the spectacle, and then the Undertaker's entrance at Mania or whatever, that was more important to me. And then them standing, you know, toe to toe, and then him looking up, you know, something like that is like that was like my favorite match when I watched WrestleMania 9 as a kid, you know. And then obviously you get older and you go, that match sucked. But like, Johnny Gonzalez is trash, you know, but I think like that's how you look at it as a performer. And then it's like, well, I can't relate to that.
Well, what's funny is you talk to some people and they're like, wrestling needs to be realistic. It's a fight. You're always trying to win. And you talk to someone who's just as experienced. They're like, wrestling's larger than life. It's a story. It's bigger. Like, you know, last time I checked, the people's elbow probably wouldn't work in a street fight, right? But it's like one of the most popular moves of all time. Like, I'd much rather replicate something that gets that reaction than a quick elbow that doesn't get anything.
Yeah, that's why I don't like a lot of the criticism either. I mean, the only time I want to critique anything is if I watch my own match back and I go like, you know, well, why did I do that right away? Like, why didn't I hold off? Like, why didn't I sell more? Some shit like that. But I think the way that I looked at wrestling as a kid obviously is completely different than when I got in the ring, especially like the first like 5 years, in which, you know, when I'm sure you experienced it too, but probably not to a terrible degree. It's you know, I started to like hate wrestling because you know, it's not believable for me to do anything, but yet like Rey Mysterio was like that much, it was like that on me, you know, is winning the Royal Rumble. So like, what the fuck?
So basically what you're trying to say is you should have won the Rumble?
What I'm saying is I should
10 minutes to get into that?
I should be reading right now, or not my notes, but a contract that I should be signing. But who's your favorite wrestler
Of all time?
Well, yeah.
I mean, if I would, it's hard for me to just put one because I like feel like I take a little bit from something from everybody. It's like kind of saying what your favorite ice cream flavor is. But I'd say like Terry Funk and Kurt Angle always held a special place in my heart.
were they your favorite before you started training?
Before The Rock.
Okay.
But then as my influence on wrestling got bigger and bigger, like I collegiately wrestled, so I related a lot to Kurt Angle.
Yeah.
And then, of course, I got into Terry Funk's like brawling style. And sometimes I think, again, not to critique, but like the kind of wrestling I enjoy is when it looks like a fight. Like I don't need wrestling to look picture perfect. I like it when it doesn't. Like I like it when you're emotionally invested into a dispute. So I always felt like I never watched anything Funk did and was like, oh man, he really tried to protect the guy on that suplex. Like, no, like Terry Funk always looked like he's trying to fuck the other guy up. He always looked like he was getting fucked up. Like, that's something I always enjoyed.
Those are things I also I didn't like until I started doing it. Like that realism that, obviously like the way that Terry Funk is gonna bite somebody's ear and fucking gnaw on it or whatever. It's like just something like that, because it wasn't just that he's gnawing on somebody's ear. It's just that, man, that guy wants to kick his ass so bad that he's gonna bite his fucking ear off or something like that. Whereas, yeah, like when we were a kid, Hogan ruled with the shittiest leg drop I've ever seen in my life. But man, when he ripped that shirt off, like, oh man, dude, you're done. It's just it's like I never really liked Stan Hansen because I never watched, or I did not like Stan Hansen. I just have never seen him before. And then when I started training, I saw a video of him and I was like, I love that dude because there is not one thing that I can relate to him with.
That's funny.
What's your perspective as a performer now? I remember you saying it to me before. It's like how you almost put a match together in your head. And I know it's always different with somebody, but I like, like when I have a match with somebody, at the end of the day, like I think we all know, fans know it's not fucking real for the most part. But our job is to tell a story no matter how we do it, so that by the end of it, they're cheering for somebody to win or lose, and they're getting mad at somebody for whatever reason. And then they forget all of a sudden that, like, hey, this is planned.
Yeah. I think you have to be delicate with that type of stuff. I kind of look at it a lot like magic nowadays. Everyone knows that it's predetermined. But when people go to see, David Blaine or whoever at a magic show, they know it's not real, right? But then you see such amazing stuff. A part of your brain says, was that real? Was that part real? Is that the part that was fake? So I think professional wrestling's the same way. Like, you and me may or may not get along outside the ring. So when we're slugging it out, some punches might connect, some might not. But someone sitting in the crowd's going to wonder, like, was that supposed to happen? And that's what I think makes a really good match.
Yeah. Yeah.
I like blurring that line. And to what you said, too, though, I would argue that there's times in wrestling where it's a lot more realer than what people expect.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I think, when there are matches that in the beginning of the match, like they can make a crowd laugh, and then, they kind of everybody comes together, but then all of a sudden things start to turn and you can get the crowd to also, go along with it. Like anytime there's like some jokes or somebody out wrestling somebody, and then they're like, everybody's kind of laughing at it a little bit, no matter how he does it. And then it turns it around where like a cutoff happens and they go, oh shit, dude, was he actually fucking pissed off about that? And if they can get, fans to believe that, then you already got them. Then you just go home.
No, like personally, like, I don't know if it's because I've always liked theater and stuff like that, or maybe because I wear my heart on my sleeve. But I do feel like when I wrestle, I have these like little moments where I become so enthralled with like me as a wrestler, as a performer, where I feel like the moments, like when I'm getting hurt, like it actually hurts. Like when I'm fighting back, like I kind of feel that momentum building inside me. It's like really therapeutic, but it's also, I think, realistic, hopefully, because like 9 out of 10 times I'm actually feeling whatever emotion I'm trying to convey.
You make yourself believe it. And that, I mean, for the most part.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even know if it's not like I'm like tricking myself to believe it. I'm like, fuck, like that boot really fucking hurts. Time for me to get back. get this guy back, you know, like.
Or like when things like that happen, like I think when I get chopped and then, you know, kind of have like a back and forth, what that always does when I am having a match, it wakes me up, because I always have like some weird anxiety right before a match, but it's like the second there's actual, you know, an actual contact, and I feel it, because like you can't, you know, chops suck a lot of the time.
Mm-hmm.
Like they suck, but I think they wake me up, and then I like it all of a sudden, and now I'm like, hey, this is a real fight type of shit. And then it's like I'm not thinking about my breathing. I'm not thinking about like what's the next spot. All I'm thinking is now is like emotion, and now I'm into this match like it's a real battle. But, you know, for the most part, we have things structured. Is there anything like that just like it just wakes you up into a match, and then you're into it, and it doesn't really feel like a job anymore? It just feels like, man, this is what I want.
I would definitely say, obviously, the crowd reaction definitely helps, you know, when they're announcing your name and you're getting up on the turnbuckle while your music's playing. But in all honesty, once my music hits, I step to that curtain. The old me doesn't exist anymore. Like, I really do feel invincible. Like, I would never dream about stepping on a Lego if it wasn't in a wrestling ring, you know, but I could land on a ton. I could land on thumbtacks. I could land on light tubes. You know, I think that's a good and a bad thing. Like, I think it's good that my brain can shut off and become like a normal member of society that's not necessarily like an alpha or like a piece, you know, aggressive piece of shit. Then other times I almost wish I could get into that Tim Donst mindset when it's time for serious conversations, when it's like, you know, how can you have anxiety talking to your boss, but you have no anxiety landing in light tubes? So I was always fascinated with that dual personality and trying to balance the two.
I think that's a good point. You know, I wish I could just turn it on, you know, if I'm out in the real world, you know, and you know, I find out that I'm trying to think, like they didn't have something in stock that I wanted, and I can fucking yell at you and make sure you get it in by the end of the day, you know, or, oh, actually, we're gonna have to give you an extra charge of like $25, and then I'm just like, oh, okay, yeah, that's fine, that's completely. You want me to pay you more? And I'm just completely fine with that. But like Kid Osborne would fucking freak out, you know.
Yeah, one time I was in downtown Lancaster. I was leaving a pub with my friends, and this dude kept trying to get my one drunk friend to fight us for some reason. I just like flipped a switch, dude. I've cut some pretty, like, I'm not a cocky person, but I've cut some pretty good promos in my life. Motherfucker, I cut the best promo of all time, dude. I was like begging this guy to fight me. I was on my knees, like, please, come over here. And then he ran off. I wish I had it on tape, because I'd probably be signed right now.
I would love to see that. You actually made me lose my train of thought.
What made me almost lose my train of thought is someone in your chat calling you daddy.
Oh yeah, he always does that. Yeah, dude, I'm so used to that. I get it all the time, you know. Especially since I got this ring, you know, this light ring. It is the greatest thing I've ever gotten. You could tell that I lotion because I'm so glossy, you know. Anyway, so when we're talking about motivation in the ring, there are times when we get tired and we get blown up. What is it that you do when you get blown up in a match?
Try to breathe better. What do you mean?
Well, somebody actually asked that. They were like, well, what do you do? Like, how do you handle being blown up in a match? And I already know what you do because I stole it from you. Anytime, I just wanted you to say it. Like, anytime you're on offense. So anytime you're on offense, I remember seeing you do this in person, and I was like, and I complimented you on it. I complimented you on this. I was like, dude, I loved it. Like, you know, when you did like something, you moved to somebody, and you know, you went down to your knee or whatever. You looked exhausted. You were like, ask him, you know. And then I was like, dude, that was so great. And you're like, yeah, that was actually me because I was so fucking blown up that I needed to catch my breath. So I just kept asking the ref to ask him, and then so he would keep selling.
I can't tell if that's a barrier or a compliment. So.
Well, I complimented you because I thought it was like, I like how you did that. You know, like you like forced the ref to ask him to see if he could continue. But really,
but again, though, this kind of goes into again though, kind of losing who I am as a person when I step into that ring. So like, if I just ran around and I put somebody down, I'm yelling at the ref and I'm catching my breath. Like, I mean, as long as it doesn't hurt the match, which doesn't sound like it does, then like if it hurts the match, fuck me, I need to do more cardio. But like, I don't think it's bad when wrestlers are tired because it's a fucking fight. Like, obviously you can't be too slow. Obviously you can't botch. Obviously you shouldn't mess up. Obviously the fans shouldn't be able to tell. But no, I don't think there's anything wrong with like two dudes going at it and the pace slowing down when it's appropriate. And I think that's one of those sprinkles that you mentioned.
Yeah, you handled a time in which, you know, anybody else, it's like, this wasn't a double down. Like, you know, now that like it takes fans out of it and they go, oh yeah, he's blown up, you know. Whereas instead they're
so basically you're just like saying like, why I can't ever do that again. Is what you're saying. Because everyone's gonna think I'm tired when I'm not.
Oh yeah, if you don't ask the ref, like, hey, ask him. If you don't do that, that means like, man, he's really blown up. He can't even talk to the ref.
Yeah.
All right. Let's. What's your biggest turn off with wrestling? Like, you know.
Probably when people take it too seriously.
Like how? Do you have any examples of in which like somebody has kind of like
I just mean like the boys in the back and talking stuff and trying to put the best match together. I think once in the blue moon, like wrestling's full of such alpha males because you have to have an alpha personality to rise to the top.
Yeah.
And like at the end of the day, like I'd much rather be friends with you and not put on as good of a match as we could be than me think you're an asshole because we're just like clashing psychologically. Does that make sense?
Right. It's
like we're supposed to be a family first and foremost. So I think sometimes just people like take it too seriously. Like, you know, we're essentially like a living comic book. Like I used to, you know, play fight as Batman and The Rock and Mankind in my front yard when I was 12 with my neighbors. And like, now I got paid to like do the same thing and fly around the country. I've been to Japan and some other places. So I think there's always a part of me that's always thinking about that in the back of my head, which not only keeps me humble, but makes me appreciate it. And more importantly than not, it kind of keeps me grounded. So I'm not going to be one of these dudes to try to start problems with other people.
Right.
And to be fair, that's very rare and few in between. But there's so much I love about wrestling. That's one of the very few things if I had to pick it.
So it really, it's like it's some of those people that we work with that instead of, you know, listening to what you know, what your ideas are, they kind of just cut you off and they go, they're not saying like, oh yeah, that's a good idea. But what about this? Let's add on to it, you know, and maybe take a little away so that you're more in tune to go, yeah, actually I see what you're saying. And yeah, we could do that. Instead of somebody just going, yeah, we're not going to do that. Like, nah, I'm not going to do that. Like,
yeah, maybe. I'm even thinking more like, I know there's dudes I've wrestled 20 times, and if they hit me really hard, I'm not going to hit them hard back because I've wrestled 19 times before. I know they're usually safe. I know it's a mistake. I know I'm friends with them. I know I drove with them. There's other people who like they would do the exact opposite of what I just described.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
It's not ballet. Like don't get me wrong. Like there's been situations where I purposely sniffed somebody for like trying to fuck me and take advantage of me. But you really have to push me to a point because I'm not that type of person for me to have to be like, all right, gotta defend myself now. Like as long as you and me are cool, as long as you know I've wrestled you before and I know that you know you're safe, I'm not gonna be a type of guy to purposely inflict pain on you for messing up.
Yeah, I agree. I think we've been doing it. Like I look at it like I've been doing it long enough that I know that the way that my strikes are and what like something like that, that if somebody needed to tell me to lighten up, like, yeah, sure. Or maybe I got you by accident, but at no point is like somebody stiffing me. Am I not going to just hit them unless they're really obviously trying to hurt me, which I've never really had that happen. I think that there are people that, you know, that they think people that are small don't feel pain for whatever reason, you know, that they can just like pick the choke slam me, but not like a regular one, but like fucking spike me like a football, you know, and then those are the kind of people that I don't think last very long. And that's just somebody being taken advantage of or ignorance. But, you know, those people that, I mean, I think obviously a turn off is just anybody that literally looks at it like it is real and they do take it too serious. And, you know, when they go for a headbutt or something like that, you know, they want to crack your skull open, you know, and just to show that their head's stronger than yours or some shit, like as if like we're all going to know, you know?
I mean, I don't mind getting hit hard, like if the moment calls for it too. I'm more talking about in terms of like receipts and whatnot.
Yeah,
I think can sometimes be like stupid.
Yeah, I hear you. But since we're on this, can you tell me?
No, let's smile.
Can you tell me the story about when you got the wrestle Hardcore Holly?
Sure. It was supposed to be Nick Gage. Nick Gage became suddenly unavailable. And then so I was asked to.
Why was he suddenly unavailable?
AEW. Who knows? Trying to get me beat up, Shane.
No, don't worry, dude. I'll protect you from him.
Can't wait. How's my wine, by the way?
Oh, dude, actually, it's not bad. It was $9.99. Not breaking the bank here, but it's actually not too bad. We'll see how I feel tomorrow morning.
So I drove down to Cleveland to wrestle him, and then he like went into this rant about how he like fucked up what's his name, Rene Dupree,
yeah,
or whatever. I was like, all right, cool. It's like, please don't fuck me up. Like, hopefully that's just like a French thing, French Canadian thing. And then he like told me about how he got out of back surgery because he goes upside down on those like inverted beds all the time. Like he like hangs upside down like a bat for 12 minutes a day. And I'm like, oh man, that's pretty cool. And he's like, yeah, while I'm upside down, I play Angry Birds. He's like, I really like Angry Birds. And dude, like you would have thought I was like, fuck Angry Birds, because as soon as he said, "Well, I'm upside down, I play Angry Birds," he's like, "I really like it." All right, dude. Yeah, I like to think of him upside down, just like splashing.
Yeah, like yelling and shit.
Yeah, and then that Alabama Slam hurts, boy.
Is that what he said?
No, it hurts. Like when he gave it to me.
Oh, jeez.
He gave it to me twice.
Oh man, dude, he must have really. He probably wanted you to. Did he let you kick?
I lost so many brain cells that I sounded like I was from Alabama.
Dude, people from the South, man. Let me tell you. You know, God bless them. Yeah, he. What was he? What did he do? Like, so you were supposed to win. You know, you were called to win or whatever. And then what did he do? He was like, I'll put you over.
If that's what you want to believe.
Oh, all right. I get it. All right. Another question here was, it was somebody that was talking about
oh, no.
when you were a figment of David Starr's imagination.
Yes.
They wanted to hear that story.
Who's this?
Don't worry
Is
about
this
it.
just you?
No,
Is this you?
this is somebody actually brings it up because, dude,
This is
because
legit.
we found
Legit
out.
someone
Remember,
asked that.
like the other day, you told me that you're like, I didn't realize this, but apparently I just came back from retirement during Christmas.
So I don't feel so bad talking about it because he after the WrestleMania cinematic match, David Starr tweeted out the video, like the promotional video for the pitch of the storyline. I'll get into more detail about it during a shoot with Smart Mark, Gary, and Shannon if you're listening sometime. But basically the idea was pitched to me by John Carlo and CZW, and ultimately being the reason why I left is because I was on a slight win streak, maybe. I don't even think I was. I think I won against Tony Depp in 2 seconds, and I lost every match after that. If I had to guess.
Oh yeah,
it definitely wasn't
man.
anything. It wasn't definitely anything like special, and that's a whole nother story too, man. With me and Tony Deppen, like I love that kid. Like I was looking forward to wrestling so much, and then next thing I know, he's out of the company. So Starr was on a losing streak, and then I was sent this 20-minute promotional video by John Carlo and David Starr of them explaining this elaborate storyline where for the past 9 months, I was a figment of David Starr's imagination. I was the embodiment of his like insecurities and stuff. And eventually, I was going to, David Starr was going to beat me, and in doing so, he was going to go back to a winning streak, I suppose. And I don't know if I was supposed to disappear. I don't know if I was just supposed to go back to normal. But the anger from them started to rise from the CZW management when I started asking logical questions. Like, if I was a figment of everyone's imagination, like, why do fans have pictures of me from the shows that we had? Why would you guys, if Tim Donst was a book for 9 months, why are you guys selling my merchandise at the table? Because it started once I beat Tony Deppen in 2 seconds and had the fastest win in CZW's history. Like that's the moment when Tim Donst all of a sudden became fictional. So I was like, if I had this record, why would you as a company be like, we're going to stop booking Tim Donst? Like that didn't make sense. And the thing that was so frustrating with me is, Starr was always a good performer, and I always thought that Carlo was very, very talented in the ring, behind the camera, and had an interesting mindset. But like, they kind of talked to me as if my mindset was too passe. Like I wasn't thinking about wrestling now and how it's evolving. And I got super offended because I was like, dude, like I'm from fucking Chikara. Like we do time travel storylines. Like that's where Chucky T got his grenade spot really popular.
Yeah.
I've wrestled. I used to team with a sea monster, as called the Sea Donsters, right? One time I did a storyline where I got a concussion, forgot that I loved America, became vegan, and joined Ultramantis Black. Like that was like my first storyline at Chikara. I love goofy stuff that makes sense. The only difference is Quack planned stuff so far down the line, you can't find any inconsistencies in the story. You can't say, well, this match doesn't make sense if this was the payoff, because Quack, being a comic book nerd, he thinks about all those places to plug up. And because this was done last minute, there was too many of those holes for me to feel comfortable. And unfortunately, when I brought up the questions, I got a lot of heat for it. And it was funny, man, because like I would go up to like wrestlers I respect a lot and be like, hey, like maybe I'm wrong, like it's not like I'm like, hey, it's my way or the highway. I'd be like, hey, like, am I missing something? Every one of them was like, that's the stupidest shit I've ever fucking heard.
I don't remember you asking me.
The only one that didn't do that is one wrestling promoter was like, you should do it. I was like, really? He's like, yeah. Then you'll be famous for being in the worst CZW storyline of all time.
Shit.
The best way was described to me.
That's actually not a bad idea.
Well, the best way is described to me. Again, because I like those storylines. I came from Chikara. Like they can outlandish storylines can absolutely be done right in the right circumstance. But I talked to Shane Strickland about it, and he's like, "Man, it's fucking Jurassic Park." I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, you know, if you go to see Jurassic Park, you expect dinosaurs. Your brain is totally cool with dinosaurs. It looks like they're real. You believe it. But then let's say in the second act, fucking aliens show up. You're like, this is bullshit. This doesn't make any sense.
Oh shit.
They've already built the rules of Jurassic Park and the believability and like what to expect. CZW built its own little universe that's not a Chikara universe.
Right.
Chikara could get away with that stuff so much easier than CZW.
Yeah.
Do I think you could slowly evolve in that style? Absolutely. But at least to me, when you compare Jurassic Park and aliens, it completely made sense to me. Is that such a good analogy?
Yeah. I mean, there is, and you're right, because CZW isn't Chikara. And yeah, on a lot of, and Chikara is definitely completely different than anybody else. But CZW, yeah, it had its technical, it had humor and stuff like that. But this was so far beyond, you know, the capacity of that fan base that, like, if you just threw it at them, they would go like, this is fucking dumb. Like, first of all, this is, you know, when Hulk Hogan, when everybody saw the Ultimate Warrior through the mirror, when Hulk Hogan's looking at the mirror and Eric Bischoff couldn't see him or whatever, but we could see him.
That's the example that I used. I was like, I hate that moment because, like, either the audience and Hulk Hogan are fucking nuts or Eric Bischoff is nuts. Like, that situation, like, does not make any sense whatsoever. Like, in any world, like, you know, either 10,000 people in that arena and fucking, you know, NWO Hollywood's fucking out of their mind and needs to be medicated, or Eric Bischoff is.
I mean,
you know, and not to say too, like, hey, like, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe this would have been like my ticket to the top of CZW stardom.
Right.
I just find it very hard to believe, and I also just got frustrated with, like, whenever I would find one of these loopholes. It wasn't even like I'm looking for reasons to dislike it. Like, if I was watching this on TV, this is a question I would have in my brain. Like, why does it say Tim Donst at the back of all these DVD covers if he never performed on these shows, right? Why is he on the cover of this CZW DVD if he never performed on these shows? So again, someone like Quack would have thought about that and would have photoshopped me out on all the covers.
Yeah.
And then so when fans looked back, they would have seen the covers like, holy shit, Donst isn't on these covers. Like, they would have, like, had that reveal. But yeah, it was a very interesting time in my life.
And again, like, I mean, like, I like, John Carlo is awesome. I love his storytelling. You know, for a lot of his ideas have just been gold. I love his detail on, like, production and everything. But I mean, even I always thought it was, like, kind of goofy. I mean, if it was me, like, of course, like, I'd just be like, yeah, I'll do it. I'll do whatever you want. Like, what do you want me to wear?
Again, like, maybe I'm wrong, but literally everybody that I respected, I talked to, is just like, bro, that doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Like, which shows you, like, I'm not arrogant enough to be like, I don't like this. This is the way to go. Like, I went to, like, my peers and was like, is it just me? Like, is there something you're seeing that I'm not seeing?
I don't know, man. I mean, you know, at the same time, the way you bring it up, like, you do come kind of off as arrogant. You know, I should have probably got the bottle of wine that said arrogance instead of
oh shit.
You know, I guess I'll just have to settle for the cologne arrogance. What are you drinking?
I'm drinking vodka club out of an Ultimate Warrior.
That rules. So you dabble in this, and I always think you do it when it's right, in deathmatch wrestling. What are your thoughts on it? Whereas I think a lot of the people, at least that I've ever worked with, actually everybody that I've ever worked with, you know, except for maybe just a couple, when they see a death match, they think, oh, this is just gonna be easy. Like, it's just us with weapons, and we're just gonna fucking kill each other with them. And it's like, no, 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 it's a wrestling match, but we have like this shit, we have these things to our disposal. When have a death match, like what are the things that you're like, no, no, I don't want to touch that, or what goes through your head, especially the first time you ever did it? You ever did one?
So the first time I ever did it was against one of like my best friends I ever made in wrestling, Danny Havoc.
Yeah.
We had trained together at Chikara and CGW since I was 17 or so. So he was the first dude I ever wrestled in a true death match in AIW in Cleveland, and like I was terrified of light tubes. He was the first guy I trusted to bust me open with a light tube and all this other stuff. Later on, he went on to tell people how much he enjoyed that match. So like that really made me feel really good, and like I belonged in that world because Danny Havoc was so revered as a deathmatch wrestler, obviously.
Yeah.
But I mean, like when it comes to death matches, there's something very visceral and primal about knowing like this is going to hurt and doing it. It's probably a much healthier version of people taking cold showers in the morning to motivate them to do stuff that they otherwise wouldn't do. So when you're landing in something, like there's no way to fake landing attacks. There's no way to fake getting hit with a light tube or land in barbed wire or carpet strips, which suck way more than people realize. But once you get out of it, you're just like, man, I did it. I can do anything.
Yeah. You kind of almost feel more accomplished when you're just like drenched in blood. I don't know, like something about it. Like, it's like, I really feel like I went through a battle. I like, that's the only way I could kind of look at it.
Well, it goes into, again, like kind of becoming someone else. Like, I like leaving it all out there. I like being exhausted. I like feeling like I just had the fight of my life. And yeah, like, blood absolutely has its own place in wrestling. Like death matches to me is just as pure as like technical style in this day and age when it's done appropriately and like right. I think once in a while it gets oversaturated, but generally speaking, like I don't see why there can't be a deathmatch promotion and a technical wrestling promotion going on the same weekend.
Right, and especially if it's at the same town. I mean, how many times have we worked and watched two different promotions in like the same Jersey area or whatever have basically it's like the same card. With minor changes or whatever. It's, where you'd have like two people working each other twice in the same or in the same area, and you're like, dude, it takes away. But like if one was obviously if one's fucking Chikara and then the other one is CZW, it's like, well, I know for a fact that they're going to be way different, and we're in for like, completely different shows on this weekend that we're going to be spending $20 here and $20 there, and whereas like also at the same time there's those shows that it's like I'm just gonna pay the 20 on the first time. And then speaking of them being in the same area, what's your favorite road trip?
One of my favorite road trips was
you don't need to name any names either.
I know we're getting it now. Jesus Christ. You can tell that story sometime. But I was going to say, I was just reminded of this the other day when I was talking to Rachel, who helps edit my podcast, 717 Social Club. But when I was like 19, I want to say, I didn't have like a car that ran very well. So I had to drive with Claudio Castagnoli and Sarah Del Rey to Philly super, super early. We had a car show that night, but Sarah was getting like flown to California for something. So we get to Philly at like 8 a.m. We don't have to be in Chikara till like 4 p.m. We drop Sarah off. Me and Claudio go to IHOP. And then we have like 5 hours to kill, 6 hours to kill, more than that. And I'm just both like super tired. So we go into like the IKEA in Philadelphia, and we just find one of the back rooms and sleep for like 3 hours.
That's hilarious.
And like no one disturbed us. Like I don't know if they thought we were mannequins. I don't know if maybe the store's like, man, those guys are doing a really good job of making that bed look like it's comfortable. Like you know, like all of a sudden they started selling more beds. But yeah, it's pretty funny.
That's actually pretty goddamn clever.
Did you think I was going to talk about the time that we did I Did Ray Mid South Rockstar at Pittsburgh, and you got mad at me for waking you up in the early morning and told me that you wish my cancer came back and I died?
Wow. You know, like I guess, you know, since we're bringing up some of this shit you didn't want to talk about. Yeah, I definitely said that. And you know what? Fuck it. I would say that again. I did. At that moment, at that very fucking moment, when it's 7:30 or 8 o'clock in the morning, even though you brought me a continental breakfast, you got me my my license to wrestle in Indiana or whatever it was.
Yeah.
Or yeah, Indiana or Virginia. Yeah. And you did all of that, and you even were going to drive to Indiana from Pittsburgh. I still, at that very moment, wished that the entire building was going to catch on fire so I would never have to wake up again.
And I believed you.
I wish Joe Gates was listening right now, because that was one of the best. That was like one of the best stories that you had to retell me after I finally got up and then, like, you know, came to my senses. But
well, yeah, because I called up our mutual friend Joe Gates. I was like, hey, this is Tim and Joe in the morning. You're listening to blah, 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 blah. The weather is, hey, wacky noise. Like, hey, we have a Kid Osborne on the phone. Kid, how you doing? You're like, fuck off. I hope your cancer comes back and you die. Look at that sincere laugh.
I mean, I don't actually mean it now, but at that time, like, holy shit, did I fucking mean that? Like, I meant it more than anything I meant in my life. It's like the same time, dude, it's the same way that when I'm driving and then somebody, like, is trying to get over, but they didn't see me. But then, you know, they come over a little and then they realize, and I have to go like that. That's it. That's all I have to do is go, oh. And then I lose my mind, and I'm like, I hope all of your friends and all your family die, and I hope you have nobody left. Like, I'll be the first one at all their funerals to laugh at it. Like, you know, like that kind of shit is what goes through my head that very second that it happens. And then like 10 seconds later, I'm like, I don't mean that.
And then, of course, that road trip ended with one of the last nights, us like drunkenly getting dropped off by an Uber at a Steak and Shake that we found out was closed once we approached it, and our phones died. And it was like raining and cold, and you're just like, fuck, I should be champion. Why don't they fucking using me? Fuck you.
I just
like,
somehow,
bro, I was like, bro, I'm not the booker, dude.
Dude, it's like, dude, ask.
And then I slowly disappeared because I was never there.
Oh yeah.
I was just a figment of your imagination.
I swear to God, like, anytime there's a minor inconvenience or something that, like, just brings my anxiety up or just makes me think a little bit depressed, I think the fucking world is against me and it's a conspiracy, and like everybody, you know, that's why I would bring that up. A Steak and Shake is closed at a reasonable hour, and then I just go, it's all because a fucking person doesn't want to fucking use me. And then you're like,
oh yeah, I put you in the top, like, angriest wrestlers I've ever met.
Dude, and that's why I talked about
like quickest trigger.
And that's why I talked about in the beginning about like how much I appreciate your patience with me as I argue a reasonable answer that I know. Yeah. And the thing is, it's like, at first, I know you're right. The second it comes off your fucking lips, and then I just can't fucking handle it. Like,
I feel like it's very therapeutic.
Yeah, and then I can't handle what you just said. It's literally the same thing, and I can't. I keep trying to talk to him, like, to get on here. Simon Gotch will I remember when we were at MLW, not bragging, and we sat there, and or no, this was in Orlando, and I just met him, and I was with Marcus Crean, and he was walking by with his girlfriend or wife, and their kid, and we're like, I just get to meet him, like I know who he is, and we bring up Stone Cold Steve Austin out of nowhere, and this motherfucker like went on a whole tangent about how like Steve Austin actually isn't that good, blah blah blah, and whatever. But every point he made sense that I couldn't argue it, and I was so fucking livid. I was so mad at the fact that he wasn't wrong that like I just met him, so I was like, and I had nothing to say. It's not like he left, and then I was like, what a piece of shit. What you're saying is
like you respect Simon that much more than me because you just say but with me you argue.
Oh yeah, exactly. Yeah, I have much more respect. You saw where he came from. So.
No, I always liked him. He's a good dude.
No, and I'm over exaggerating, but like, you know, I was like, I had nothing. I had no answer like at all, and I was like, this blew my fucking mind. And then he left, and I was looking at Marcus, and I was like, I had nothing. Like, you know, I still fucking like Steve Austin. He's still my favorite, one of my absolute favorites. But fuck, he actually made some really good points, and that pisses me off. Whereas, like, anytime you tell me something that's right, like, I am yelling at you, like yelling right at your neck.
We have, like, a very, like, parent-child relationship. Like, you argue with me just because, like, I'm right. Hold on. And then when I try to wake you up in the morning for fucking school, you're like, I'm staying. You're like, 10 more minutes, 10 more minutes.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, but then, obviously, like, at the same time, that same night before at, like, 4:30 in the morning, you're slamming fucking like you're slamming like Girl Scout cookies like right into my face, you know? And like,
why? What did you do to make me do that?
I mean, I probably poked at you because I bet you didn't like getting poked like that, did you?
Yo, dude, it's hilarious, dude, because like I love Girl Scout cookies, so the fact that I'd rather fucking crush these cookies over your face than consume them is a very good way to point out how much hatred I had for you at the moment.
Oh my god! All right, all right. So since we're cutting it close, well, not that close. I mean, this is my fucking show, you know. I don't need an editor for my fucking show. But
how's this going compared to your other episodes? Are you happy with it?
No. But so here's a couple good ones, man. And it kind of turns it around a little. The first one, I mean, they're both equal here. Who's your biggest hero? This was actually a question which, you know, related to, you know, what I wanted to bring up, which I still might. Who's your biggest hero and non-wrestling?
And non-wrestling or in non-wrestling?
Non-wrestling, like non-wrestling.
Oh, that's a good question. There's a lot of people I get little stuff about. That's one of the best questions I've ever got because it always goes back to wrestling.
Yeah, and I didn't get that many non-wrestling questions that wouldn't just be inside jokes. But this one, I feel like anybody could, you know, this was a good one. I was like, holy shit, actually, I never thought they even ask.
No, it's a great one. I have heroes for different reasons. I'll say two. One of them, I always appreciate the honesty of Artie Lange. Yeah, obviously, lived a very crazy, detrimental to himself and his loved one life. But man, you really have to really find yourself in order to be so honest in so many details on how many people you've hurt in your life, what brings you downhill. So I wouldn't say he's an example of an overall hero.
Right.
There's an aspect of his honesty that I feel like most people will never acquire. Another one was Tracy Morgan's book is actually really interesting because he grew up from nothing, which probably a lot of people know, but his brother was basically a vegetable. So Tracy Morgan became funny because he had to stop people from fucking around with him. Like that was his self-defense mechanism. So here he took this thing that was such a negative and turned into a positive and a blossoming career.
That's awesome. I mean, I can, certainly relate to like a Tracy Morgan. Like growing up, being like a small person, I remember getting angry. Yeah, I mean, I know, hard to believe with me, right? Getting angry it's being made fun of for being small or whatever. And then you just kind of turn it into like, well, wait, yeah, you're small. You can't beat that many people up. And then you turn it into like just being funny or trying your way into being funny. And then Artie Lange, and then Artie Lange, like just, I think somebody being overly honest, but only, I don't know if it's like whether, because I didn't think you would fucking say Artie Lange. Like, to be honest, I have no way.
To be fair, there's an aspect of him that I find is like, being brutally honest is a quality of a hero. I wouldn't say he's my most overall hero that I want to model my life after.
Yeah, I didn't.
I also look up to people like Howard Stern, Adam Carolla, and Joe Rogan, who kind of pioneered the talk radio and podcast realm and the do-it-yourself attitude. Like, but even those guys, like, they don't hit the level of honesty that Artie does.
Right. Artie Lange will just say it, and he doesn't care that it would end in him getting punched in the face. Like, he doesn't give a shit.
Whether it's, I mean, it's probably better for him to express those feelings, but it really brings up the idea of, would it be so bad if everyone like just told each other how they felt all the time? They told them about all the baggage. Like, it'd be an interesting world. It'd be interesting to see how much less conflict there would be if people were open.
I don't know. I feel like I feel like Futurama did an episode of, if you like that one day you could just express how you really feel and something, and then it backfired. I don't know if that would be such a great idea. But the other, I mean, I think those are, I mean, if they didn't tell everybody listening that you really listened and watched on the E channel a lot of Howard Stern, then like growing up, then I would like to wonder who your real heroes are. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, this is more like later on in life, but I know one other special shout out to Teddy Roosevelt is always very fascinating to me as well.
Go ahead.
his wife and mother died of the same disease on the same day in the same house, which happened to be Valentine's Day. So Teddy Roosevelt, this before his presidency, obviously, essentially was just like, fuck it, like in this depressed state, sold a bunch of his property, and then moved and became a cowboy in the Midwest. And there's like a few years where we're not really sure exactly what he was doing during those years. But he just like left everything to like find himself in the fucking wilderness, live off the land. And that's one of the reasons why when he became president, he made more national parks than any other president, because he appreciated the land so much, because during this like weird time in his life, he just became a nomad and lived off of it.
That's fucking
He appreciated the beauty. Dude, it's great. Valentine's Day? Wild, right?
That is actually really interesting. Like I'm not being sarcastic. I know it's hard to believe, but I did not know that. And
it explains why I'm so fucked up. The fact I put Artie Lange and Teddy Roosevelt hangout spot in my brain.
Yeah, it's a good fucking point. Wow. At the end of the day, we all like, man, could you at any point guess who Tim Donst's biggest heroes non-wrestling related are? It's a no-brainer. It's Artie Lange and Teddy Roosevelt. And you go,
yes.
like, absolutely. Jeez, somehow. The other, you know, we're good. I'd
also throw Stanley in there.
Yeah, okay. So anyway, first of all, I mean, really, I asked you one, and you gave me four. So like,
Can't do it.
Well, you know,
if I had to pick one of all time, I'm going with Stanley. All right. I appreciate aspects of everybody else.
You know, like this
because it's such a great question.
The next time I ever,
you've had too much wine, Kid Osborne.
Listen. The next time I ever have you on my fucking show, you better have one name when I ask you who's your favorite. All right. Otherwise, are you have to go to Lancaster, and then you're gonna probably beat the shit out of me and slam fucking cookies in my face again. So anyway,
is your name John Carlo? Because if you think I'm gonna come on the show again, you're fucking imaginary, dude.
Jesus Christ. Anyway, so let's go into this one. Tell me about, and I mean, this is a complete turnaround. This is where I'm supposed to, you know, I'm gonna think of you as brave and inspirational and all that. So that time, you know, when you
terrible.
When you found out that I mean seriously, when you found out that you had cancer, or that, you know, you were told that you have cancer, and then also when you were, I guess it would be in remission, or you beat cancer. I don't know the right terminology, but what was it that made you have to feel like you needed to go to a doctor? And then when you were told that, what were your first thoughts? And then also when you did beat it?
All right. So I pissed a bunch of blood. That was my only sign that anything bad happened. There's a documentary called Wrestle, Donst, Wrestle, that Kenny Johnson did a great job documenting.
I just saw it again.
Oh, for the first time? Oh.
No, I said again, motherfucker, I'm your friend.
He did a good job making me seem like a decent human being. Movie match.
Yeah.
CGI. So, you know, when the first x-ray showed up, it looked like the tumor had spread. So they basically said I was in the stage 4, and I had like 30 to 60 days to live. That was like the very first thing. So I'm sitting in this hospital room alone by myself thinking about, fuck, like, I'm done. Like, I'm going to die. Luckily, when they re-examined the x-rays a few days later, they realized that it was just blood that had spread to other parts of my organs and not the tumor. So I was going to live. When I found out, I was happy. And I was depressed again because I was never going to be able to wrestle again because they were afraid I'd be put on dialysis if I got hit the wrong way. Then, of course, my childhood hero, Mick Foley, reached out to me, got me in touch with WWE doctor, who contradicted my surgeon, said I can wrestle with one kidney. So then I got really happy again. So already I'm going through this roller coaster, man. And then so I wrestle, I'm really happy, things are going good. And about 4 months later, I'm at an AI, probably more than 4 months. I'd say close to a year. So you know, I had this roller coaster. Now I'm living life. I'm high. I'm wrestling again. My health's good. I'm not dead. Like, God forbid, I lucked out. And then at an AIW show, a security guard came downstairs and asked me to go upstairs because the mother had brought her daughter to the show. She was like I want to say an 11-year-old girl with a brain tumor going through chemo, which I didn't have to deal with. And the mother wanted me to talk to her daughter for her, right? Yeah. Like, because I went through it, and by all accounts, like, I had it easy. I just had my kidney taken out. I didn't have to go through chemo, and I was also, you know, a decade older and changed. Like, so mostly I was a lot more probably cemented than this fragile pearl or 11-year-old girl. So, you know, so I go out there to a car. She was out in the car because inside was like too hot with her chemo treatments. It's raining. It's already weird talking to people you don't know. And then you also have this weight of talking to this poor girl with cancer. So I'm talking to her, and I give her a piece of Chandler Biggins, who's an AIW promoter that had passed away, had always given me hope. So I gave the same thing to her, and I repeated some words that Mick Foley had told me when I was going through it. And I'm really lucky I had that experience because it really put a lot of stuff in my head. But then, a little bit after that, I found out she died, and it like fucked me up. Obviously not to the extent I'd imagine as, God forbid, her mother or father or siblings, but like I went through this hardcore survivor's guilt, which I didn't know was a thing, where I was just like, man, like, why am I still here? Like, if I could, I would trade lives with this poor little girl.
Yeah.
Like that girl's like never gonna drive a car, never gonna go on a date, never gonna go to Disney, never go to prom. And I was like, man, like the fact that I'm still here and she isn't completely fucked me up for a long time.
Yeah. Shit. I mean, I didn't have.
And that's something I didn't know that was a thing. And like, I didn't know that was a thing that I would experience. I thought, oh man, I beat it, everything's happy. And then all of a sudden I went through this hardcore downward spiral.
I mean, until you said this story, I didn't even know. I didn't know survivor's guilt was a thing. Like I guess maybe I did. Like people that like survive a plane crash and they wonder why them. I guess I just never. It's just not a thing that I would, most of us would ever think of, because I've never been in a situation where like, man, I could have died, and I didn't, but other people in my same situation didn't. So I think that's fucking, I mean, that's definitely anything I didn't think that you were going to say. Well, I'm trying to, holy shit. And why are you looking at me like that?
Oh no, I'm your glowing face.
So that does, obviously everybody I think everybody in wrestling is extremely happy, and that's including me too. Even as earlier, just obviously that made everything I said earlier made me feel like a piece of shit. However, I don't regret saying that when it was 7:30 in the morning. I just want to make that clear to you. But no, in reality, that's not anything I ever thought about. So that must really suck, especially for you, like, to have met this person and, now you have such a connection, and then later to find out like she didn't pull through. To be honest, like, what it made me think of is, somebody like, and believe me, I'm not comparing you to John Cena, but John Cena and any of the wrestlers that do like the Make-A-Wish, and then they meet all these people and not all of them pull through, and that's gotta be that's to like take so much like out,
Yeah, and it's very selfless. Like I'm obviously I'm not a John Cena or whoever, so like John Cena's helping a lot more people than I ever will in that situation. But like I messaged Foley afterwards because I know he's really big into doing that stuff. He talks about it in his book. I'm just like, I don't know how you do it, man. Like that, like it was such an honor, and I'm so happy I got to do it. I'm so happy that the mother thought of me and put that much confidence in me to try to help spin her daughter's positivity, and hopefully I did just that. But like, yeah, definitely put things into perspective. I think too, part of the mental downward spiral too is that I've always felt like an outsider, like being a wrestler, right? And then once you combine it, being a wrestler makes us kind of live on the edge of society already. And then I survived, kidney cancer at 25, which none of my other peers have ever been in a life-threatening situation like that. So that's a second reason why I already feel like an outcast now in an outcast society, and then combined with survivor's guilt is really crippling.
I'm be honest with you. Like, I mean, you kind of, that threw me way off. Whereas, you know, like, it makes me think, like, anytime I, you know, like how we were joking, you know, about me in a hotel room, you know, where I
don't take offense to that
like,
at all.
realistically, I mean, you know that, like, I don't actually ever at any point wish death upon anybody. And I say it because, like, I think it makes, you know, make you laugh because you have the same kind of fucked up humor that I have. But then
I'll make, yeah.
But then when you
never offended me.
Yeah, I didn't think I did. That's why I said it. But like, you know, you don't think about other people all the time. So I it's like why I, you know, I don't, you know, to a lesser degree, like I think of, I said it. I watched the Yokozuna documentary, literally just last night, and I watched the whole thing. Our friend, Georgie, Hazar, like he was like, it's gonna mess you up, and I was like, what do you? I don't know. I doubt it. Like, you know, and I watched it, and it was like him about, like him with eating and being in his, he's obese, you know, and I watched the whole thing, which it makes you rethink, like when I call like fans bloggers and shit like that. Like but at first when I was really trying to get under people's skin, I was calling them like fatties, and then all of a sudden you realize, like, you know, some people aren't taking it the same way as I'm saying it, you know, and I think I'm just not going to say that anymore. But then
my rule of, yeah, go ahead.
I was just gonna say that then, you know, all it is now I'm like, I posted a tweet, like, and I'm not trying to put myself over. Like, I hope nobody messages me, you know, just because I'm saying it. It's just that it got to me where I was like, hey, listen, anybody that's like actually trying to do better and go to the gym, I'm not anybody. I'm not anybody, but I'm there if you feel comfortable messaging me. But that was it. But what were you going to say?
I was going to say, I always thought the rule of thumb, whether it's like joking around with friends or joking around, like especially at wrestling shows, like when you're a heel trying to get a boo from a crowd, is you don't make fun of anything that the person can't change immediately.
That can't change?
They couldn't change almost immediately.
Oh, okay.
So, like, for instance, if someone has long hair, you could make fun of them for their long hair because theoretically they could just chop it off and they liked it better that
way.
Right. Like, I can make fun of somebody for having a lame T-shirt, but like when you start to get into the realm of somebody's weight and like other shit, like then I think it starts to get kind of on the gray line.
Yeah, and.
So, for instance, I think calling someone a blogger isn't necessarily insanely offensive. Like,
no, it was just a word that I look at and I go, well, I mean, everybody calls a wrestling fan a mark, but like I'm like that's dumb. Like, but nobody uses the word blogger anymore, you know. And like anytime somebody says blogger, it's like, Jesus Christ, man, ugh, you know. It's literally, it makes me ugh, like when I hear it. You know, as I have my own podcast. Yeah, you're, you know, so I just, I mean, that changed a lot. I mean, but obviously I'm glad because I do know you, and I've known you for way too long now. Whereas like I also use like fucking humor every which way I can to like, you know, throw off like when things like upset me.
Oh no, me too. But you know, that's like one of the reasons too. Though. Like I do, yeah. But I mean, I have a dark sense of humor too, and I do joke around about that stuff. And like, I mean, I kind of think like, hey, we can either never talk about this elephant in the room and make it even more sad, or we can be like, fuck you, bitch. We're gonna make a joke out of this serious situation.
Yeah. I mean,
obviously a time and place, but
when there are certain storylines where we get involved in, I mean, especially what I've actually kind of noticed is like more and more that I've been in is, I like almost like people are like, oh, hey, Kit's more willing to say something that's really pushing the line, and then you're like, yeah, I'm also not trying to like get canceled, like
well, to tie it back to that first subject we talked about and pro wrestling being like magic, right? In that documentary Wrestle Donst Wrestle that you watch, when I challenged Nick Gage my first match back, Gage's response to me is, "Cancer didn't kill you, but I'm gonna kill you." And the reaction from the crowd is absurd because no one in their right mind would think Tim Donst is cool with Nick Gage using his real life ailment in a wrestling promo. And that's that's one of the things that's like that magic. We're like, I know this is fake. I think it's fake, but was that real? And when I got on the mic and responded back, I'm gonna fuck you up so badly you wish you were back in prison. That's another thing when fans are like, fuck, like I don't think Gage knew that Donst was gonna fucking fire that one out. Now he's really gonna fucking try to fuck him up in a month,
Yeah.
That's one of the things that makes our sport so great is that blending of the line. And I think in the right situation, that's always okay.
Yeah, and you're right. And at this, like I just had a match with Tara Calloway. This is the second match, and the first one, I attacked something that obviously anybody would be. I was like, first of all, like I didn't feel comfortable doing it because I don't know what the backlash would be. Not even through her, but everybody. It's like, I know that that I don't mean that, but I'll say it for the sake of, the fact that when we have the match, you're going to beat the shit out of me because you're so mad that I said this. And then, obviously the storyline eventually ends. And, it's like the same time if I ever have any intergender match or something and I call somebody brave, for whatever fucking reason, and then they kick the shit out of me. It's like, I always hope that it doesn't backfire because wrestling isn't how it was before, whereas like there was no boundaries where now that there is, and then being a heel is, it's well, yeah, I know he said it, but like, did he mean it? And you're like, Jesus Christ. Like, like if this was a soap opera, which wrestling really is, you wouldn't fucking question it. But because it's live, it's completely different, but.
One of my favorite heel moments of all time was AEW had a show the day after like The Force Awakens came out. Like The Force Awakens came out like on a Friday.
Yeah.
And like Greg Iron went to go see it at the midnight showing. So like an AEW show starts at 7. So the 600 people in attendance, all of them chose to go to AEW instead of watch Star Wars because it's on a Friday, right? Like, so they went right from work to home to AEW, and then Greg Iron's like cutting this promo, then out of nowhere he's like, "Oh yeah, Han Solo dies," and the crowd fucking got so heated.
Holy shit! Like, that's such a good.
It was so funny.
That's such a good.
I mean, but people were legit pissed off. That, and then there's something I always bring this up to him every time I see him. I also have a soft spot in my heart when Eric Fox was cutting a promo when he was like a bad guy in CCW. And he was like, "Yeah, I was in my own private locker room, the foxhole."
Jesus Christ. All right.
The foxhole.
We're going way over, but I wanted. This is the one I want to end with because this is the most badass fucking story ever.
Oh my god.
Your mom. Yeah.
Nobody. You're really gonna end.
Nobody would.
You're good. You're gonna. Why are you gonna try to end on this?
Oh,
this is like one of the most longest, complicated stories.
Your mom is the fucking best. The best. The absolute. the biggest badass I've ever met. Your mom got, all right, well, your mom is more badass than 50 Cent, man. Like, she got shot like 5 times and survived.
Yeah.
And then like left the hospital like a day or 2 later and was like, yeah.
By my father, nonetheless.
Yeah.
Then she wanted to take the bullets and turn them into earrings because she's artsy.
That's fucking ridiculous.
Yeah,
and ever since I
it's
met
fun,
your
like,
mom, she has been like, she was the nicest person I've ever met. Like, I mean, especially in Cleveland, but like, can we talk about this?
Yeah, I mean, we can. I don't know why you'd want to end on it because it's a complicated tale.
It might be
yeah, what do you wanna know?
complicated, but at the end of the day, we're talking about your mom being a fucking badass, and that's who decided to keep you.
Jesus Christ. Keep me? Yeah, no, I love my mom. Obviously I thought I was the tough one being the professional wrestler, but apparently not.
Yeah,
What
no.
specific questions
Really,
did you have?
if I could interview your mom, I would 100% have interviewed her instead.
Yeah, what did you want me to get into specifically? Do you have a question or like?
Well, so I mean, and this was like right before I ever met her, when we went and we stayed in Cleveland. We stayed with her and Al, and you then, like, very right before that, told me about the whole the situation. So
What, before we got there?
yeah, you told me within
damn.
weeks of us going.
Okay.
So I always thought that was like the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard, because I was like, first of all,
sure.
like, I don't believe that. And then the other, obviously it's you telling me. I trust anything you really tell me, but I'm like, that's fucking hard to believe, So tell me tell me the story of. I don't need to know about, like, we don't know.
So the summarized
or anything, like, just
the summarized version is that my dad and my mother had been divorced since the age of when I was 13 or so. Dad lived in Lancaster, mother lived in Cincinnati, Ohio. My dad invites me over to his house. He says, "I love you," which is weird because I have no memory of my dad saying he loves me. And he also embraces me. So I was under the impression that he was going to kill himself, as I had been for a few years. But this was kind of like it's probably going to happen this time, I think, maybe. As fucked up as that sounds, you get kind of so used to that situation. And then I'm at work the next day. I was working at a gym when I wasn't wrestling, like 3 days a week. And then I get a phone call from my uncle saying that my dad had called him because my dad had just killed and shot my mother, and that my dad had planned on dying in a police shootout. So according to him, my dad drove 9 hours to Cincinnati, killed my mother, was about to die in this police shootout. So I like crumbled down in pain. I didn't know emotional pain could like physically fuck you up so much, but I was like fucking out. I was really fucking out of it. I called my stepfather. He told me that my mom was alive. I didn't believe him because I thought he was lying to me, so I wouldn't get into a car accident. Then he kept reassuring me. Then he put on the Ohio police chief, so I talked to him. He confirmed that my mom was alive. But then he's like, "Hey, we don't know where your dad's at. He's clearly fucked in the head. You need to come to us because he could be coming after you." So now my dad had keys to my apartment. So like now I'm petrified that he's waiting for me. He's gonna fucking take me out. So eventually, like, I pull over a cop on my way home. Cop doesn't believe me. Cop thinks I'm on drugs. I'm making up this tale. He refuses to walk to me to my apartment. Eventually, I find my way in Cincinnati, Ohio. And by that point in time, once I got there, my dad had been found by an undercover cop, tackled and arrested. And then the cop, like, made some comments like, "You'll be happy to know that she's still alive." And my dad started crying, saying like, "Thank God." And like my dad's like bipolar, probably schizophrenic, definitely borderline narcissist and like personality disorder. Um, so like having like my I 10 years ago I would have said my dad was my hero outside of wrestling because he's my Boy Scout leader, he's my soccer coach, he's the guy that signed my papers so I could train at Jakar at 16 years old. Like, what more can a parent do than like help their kid reach their dreams? Like, how many parents wouldn't sign that fucking waiver for their 16-year-old to drive an hour 2 times a week on school nights to get beat up by 30-something-year-olds and drive back and get home, 4 hours before school starts? But my dad believed in my dream so much that he did that. And now he's currently serving 11 years in Ohio. And then my mom obviously recovered perfectly.
Yeah. That was, Jesus fucking Christ. That's another fucking answer that I didn't expect. And wow. Yeah, I really dug myself a fucking grave, didn't I?
Tried to warn you. Great pun, yeah.
I fucking hate you. No, no, of course I wasn't ending on that, you fucking idiot. But I mean that I didn't. You didn't tell me that whole the way that you said it.
Oh.
But I also
and people don't realize. People don't realize too, though.
At the end of the day, hey, Kit, who are you interviewing? Oh yeah, I'm just interviewing this other worker. That knows me really well. So of course he knows that I'm gonna ask something, and he's gonna fucking make me feel like shit. And it would be you.
Yeah, right.
No, I mean, obviously, like the reason why I brought up that question is because I met your mom, and it was very briefly after you told me the summary of the story. You didn't give, you just I knew that it was your dad and all that, but you were very brief on your relationship with him.
Well, then imagine too. Like, not only am I dealing with the survivor's guilt, because this is within like 3 years of each other or something. Like, now am I dealing with that? But now in my head, I have to figure out whether or not my dad is a piece of shit asshole who did the worst thing he could do, which is try to take out the mother of your son, or whether or not this is a mental disease, right?
Yeah.
So I have to struggle with, is he a piece of shit, or is this him off his medication and like this is clearly some form of mental illness. To what extreme, I'll never know. But not only was I juggling with that, when I went to Ohio, like I could see my mom's blood splatter on the pavement where she had been shot. And besides seeing the footage, when I visited my mom directly after it happened, I was walking back to her house from the little clubhouse, and I overheard somebody say, "Hey, did you hear that asshole shot that woman here?" And like that was really weird for me because it's like that's the guy that like believed in me when I was 16 and like protected me and like loved me for most of my life. Like, do I fucking stand up for him? I probably should. He tried to take out my fucking sweet mom. Like that kind of stuff like fucked me up too.
I remember when we were there and you showed me like basically there's a stain there. And I think the first thing I said to you was, I bet your mom is the first person to brag about it. Like, like I remember that. That was like 5 years ago.
My mom's such a, yeah.
Yeah, like I swear to God, that was like your mom is like one of the sweetest people I've ever met. It's just that when you showed me, like it's still there. Well, I mean, it was there in 2017.
I'm sure it's still there.
And I was like, most people would have like, they would have, I had an uncle, a great uncle that I think he got robbed, and he didn't want to leave the house ever again. He was one of those kind of people.
Yeah.
And your mom had none of that, like those type of symptoms that, well, at the time you ever said. And the like when you showed it to me, I was like, I mean, that's what I thought. I'm like, I bet you she's fucking, like, she's like, yeah,
Well,
yeah, I survived that shit.
well, to summarize the type of person my mom is too, you know, she was shot while she's walking her cat on a leash. And then if you listen to the 911 call, which is publicly available, like all you can hear my mom saying is like super calm. She's like, "Can someone please put my cat inside?" Like while she's fucking bleeding out. Like my mom's like so nonchalant. She's like, "I'll be fine. Can someone just please find my cat and bring him inside?"
God, we definitely need to do another one of these fucking road trips. It's been way too long.
Yeah, agreed.
You know, I didn't want to leave it on that. But I also didn't realize I was gonna have two stories in a row that were gonna make me feel like, wow, that's not what I thought. Like, it's not what I was gonna end with. So this is definitely a huge surprise episode. I mean, I hope nobody. The reason why I'm only saying that is because, we never really talked too much deeply into this as we are now. Where, like, dude, I obviously I feel the pain that you were going through when you beat cancer, and then you had this survivor's guilt that
Oh yeah.
I didn't really think was I never really, I knew that it was a thing. Like, I've heard of it, but it never like went in my head where, like, I thought about it. So I can't obviously relate to you until you brought it up. And then the same thing with you going through, with your mom and being shot by your dad, who, as you said, just signed your Chikara, paperwork to be able to train, which is fucking ridiculous, and that's, I for the sake of the podcast is that I did not think that was what I was going to hear. So, that's crazy. However, I'm not ending on that. Jesus Christ. I'd rather people be, if they're still listening at this point and don't think I'm a piece of shit, is what's your biggest accomplishment in professional wrestling?
I would say I stayed true to myself. I don't think I ever became. I think it's very easy to lose yourself in this great fictional world of wrestling. I've always stayed humble and true to my nature. I think I made more friends than enemies. I don't think I ever let my ego get out of control, which is tough, because there's definitely certain times that we'll treated like stars, in some small circles. And the fact that I somehow am still able to have low self-esteem, even with all my accolades, is really good.
I think that's great, man. That's why at the end of the day, when I picked that wine, which obviously has fucking hit me,
Or you gotta bring a bottle next time.
Yeah. Next time I gotta do it live so that you can fucking, give me like a pinch in the arm, like, hey, don't ask that. And and by the way, we did talk about it. But
I hope you get canceled.
I am, yeah, you know what? Me too. Then I wouldn't have to try anymore. But that's why it brings up in the beginning, man, is I brought up prophecy, because out of all the people that I've gotten to meet, in the decade plus of training and wrestling and all that, is that you know, you were somebody that I've always gone to, especially when, you know, and I probably should have done it a lot more recently, is somebody I can go to and I get an honest answer. And it would be an answer that would be, you know, that who understood this divine entity that is professional wrestling. And obviously, like, we've become such great friends in the course of, wow, it's surprising, like, since like 2015 when we met. And then,
Oh yeah, that little interview segment, you with your short hair.
yeah, when I had short hair,
You made magic.
and you know, and they didn't want me to be like, they didn't want me to be a wrestler, and I still stayed there. I probably should have listened to you, because I'm sure at some point you told me, like, you should fucking leave. And then I didn't, thinking that something good was going to happen. I wasted my time. But you've always been that person that, regardless of whether it was business or, you know, just us, you know, being who we are in real life, you know, you're always somebody that I can go to, and had the patience with me, and you would let me argue with you, but you know, you knew at the end that I would realize that you had the right answer, and you know, I can't appreciate that enough.
Well, the last part's debatable, but no, I really appreciate it, and
I
I
may
would
not have
enjoy
told
talking
you.
to you. I wouldn't enjoy talking to you so much if I didn't like you so much. So it's always been my pleasure, and too, like, you know, me talking to you about stuff makes me evaluate stuff and look at things differently. So I get as much as talk to you as vice versa.
Oh man. Well, hey, thank you, Tim, for coming on my show, and make me feel bad about shit, and making me literally reevaluate how I you know, approach people in traffic now, like, as small as
Perfect.
that. So thank you, man, and you know, I'm sure I'll talk to you very soon.
Yeah, let's talk soon. Cheers.
Yeah, dude, one last ride.
One last ride, baby.